someone to save. I wanna tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? We fight back, fast, down the lane, sooner than this. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? We fight back, fast, down the lane, sooner than this. Don't you wish I would've been someone else? I wanna feel your gap without making a mess at you. Won't you tell me something new? I wanna tell you something new.
Hey, my name is Travis and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
And we welcome you into the Pierce Sports Center here in San Bernardino, California for our 4th match on day number 1 of our 3rd NBA Cup event of the season. Ira Thor alongside Nick England, and a matchup that on paper you would think would favor Team Freedom, but Team Freedom is missing some pieces today, and we will see how they either adjust or if they are exposed as they take on a Southern Exposure team that is certainly playing for its playoff lives at 3-3 overall.
Yeah, they really are. And, you know, we saw during event number 2 a lot of productivity coming out of the Southern Exposure team. Big add in the middle was with Uchenna Ofoha. Going to see a lot of damage from him. Southern Exposure, I got a chance to talk with them before the match. They traveled the entire team with everyone, with the exception of Lev Gershfeld, currently battling some back issues on the outside. So you're still going to see that core of Tyler Hubbard-Neal, Eddie Mushikian, just a variety of those different guys, and they've got Chad Mercado on the right side back. So this is going to be a great matchup from the National Conference.
Yeah, Chad Mercado obviously is somebody you have to pay attention to if you are Team Freedom, but Team Freedom is going to be adding a piece to the puzzle in Jake Rosner, an outside hitter at a UC Santa Barbara. He's currently on the AVP Beach Pro Tour. He's making his debut today for Team Freedom at some point in this match. They're going to have a couple other pieces at play because they are without libero Jordan Robinson. They're without Chris Nugent, their number 1 outside hitter, who is away this weekend. And they're without Chris Vaughn, their other outside hitter, who is still injured from a high ankle sprain that he suffered back in our event in Atlantic City. So we take a look at the starting lineup for Team Freedom. 5-1 on the year. They'll be featuring Matt Elias at center. He wears number 4. The middles will be Dr. Doug Zema in the middle out of Rutgers, and Matt Seifert, number 12, out of Penn State. John Cunningham will be the libero. The opposite today, interesting move here. Joe Norman's not going to get the start. They're going to give him some time off. And John Lutz, the opposite, wears number 18, will get the start for Team Freedom, with Bez Arslani and Jeff Nelson, 8 and 19, your outsides. Meanwhile, for Southern Exposure, they come in at 3 and 3 overall on the year. Starting setter is going to be number 15, Derek Sullivan. The libero is former All-American Kyle D'Agostino out of Stanford. The outsides will be Eddie Mushikian alongside Kevin Rocklein, who's had an awesome last couple weeks of volleyball. And in the middle, you'll see Tim Lurich. He's going to Lurich, I should say, returning to the lineup for Southern Exposure, and we'll likely see the other middle be, as you mentioned, Uchenna Ofoha.
Yeah.
Certainly somebody to watch. So we are underway here in San Bernardino. An early 1-1 score, and Southern Exposure certainly is going to make Team Freedom make some choices today. So we'll see Jeff Nelson making his debut here for Freedom serving. And he serves too deep. The Rosner's not going to get the start, but he's somebody that obviously has not had a lot of practices with the side yet, so it's still some infamiliarity amongst these guys. That if you see either Lutz, Nelson, and or obviously Bez Arslani, any of them falter in this match, certainly room to make a move for Coach Carlo Edra and team owner Justin Beaumont. As that is put away. Oh, Matt Seifert with a big swing. And I was just about to mention that what's interesting about this match is that you have guys collegially who are very familiar with each other, Nick, because you got Seifert out of Penn State, and you have a couple players on the Southern Exposure squad who aren't on the floor right now, but out of George Mason, as they played many battles, including Langston Payne, the other middle, out of George Mason. They played many battles over the years in the EIVA, so this has got some East Coast flair to it out here in Southern California.
You always love to see that return to some of those old college rivalries, but we're back underway with a nice dig and a swing to the side there. That's going to be a kill for number 6, Dr. Doug Zema there with the middle kill.
As Zema gets his first kill, we've already had one out of Seifert, so it's nice to see that the middle's being deployed early on. As we will see Matt Seifert serving here for Team Freedom. Only loss of the season came in the final match of the event our last event, as that is blocked back. Another swing, two in a row! Reach out and stuff someone! Dr. Doug, John Lutz, put it away.
What a great move. You see that blocking press gets low, tight over the net, takes away a ton of court, and a huge, huge move there for Team Freedom.
Now Seifert takes a little bit off of that one. D'Agostino with the diving pass, and another stuff! Dr. Doug with the prescription.
He certainly does. You'll love to see that. Double blocks back to back for the middle is a great way to start the match, and a great way for guys to get behind that and create some early energy.
Well, Zema did not play in the last 2 matches of the Atlantic City event, so he's seeing his first action since May 28th. Southern Exposure goes outside high off the hands. Big swing by Eddie Mushikian for the kill to give Southern Exposure a much-needed side out as they trailed 6-2 prior to that swing. And we will see Uchenna Ofoha out of Toronto, Canada, the 6'8" middle. He's going to toss it up. Goes deep with it. Arslani has to make the play. Swinging away. Coming our way. Souvenir for me. As that is put away by the John Lutz combination out of George Mason as well. It's actually kind of ironic that you got a George Mason and a Penn State product side by side on the court, because, well, let's just say those two teams have had a lot of fierce battles over the years. Arguably your two best teams collegiately on the East Coast. NJIT probably will have something to say about that as well. As that is too long by Chad Mercado, who played his volleyball in Virginia at Lee's McRae. I think we're long overdue, by the way, speaking of Southern exposure, being from Florida, not having any of the major schools in Florida having Division I men's volleyball.
Yeah, I would love to see some of that, you know, and that's always the hope, right? Create a place for these players to go play after college, and maybe they're able to create some pressure, get some colleges to start those programs. So we'll have to see. But in the meantime, you see, you know, guys like Tim Lurich, a product of the UCF club volleyball. No, he's University of Minnesota.
As that is left short there on the jumper by Mushikian out of King's College in Virginia. Out of Santa Clarita, California. He is the only member of Southern Exposure who makes his hometown here in California. As that is too long. Back to back to back service errors as Zema sends it too long. And it is an early 9-6 lead for Team Freedom. We were wondering what we were going to get out of Team Freedom today with so many important parts of the lineup out, and so far they've responded as Tim Lurich goes back to serve out of Shorewood, Wisconsin. Aslani with the pass. At the net they go. Outside to Nelson, blocked back and then put away. All the middles coming through here. Matt Seifert making his presence felt. And that will send Matt Elias, 6'1" setter at Juniata College, serve here for Freedom, up by 4. They try to go over on 2, and waiting for him was Matt Seifert with a wall.
And that's a huge prep point. We've talked about it before in the NVA. Derek Sullivan is one of the most aggressive setters, loves to use all of that height, and he'll look for those dumps aggressively. So to see that prep right there, you see the nod to the bench. Jeff Nelson ready to take that one on, shuts Sullivan down quick and early.
Going deep was Elias. They go to the back row to Mercado, and Mercado can't connect. If Mercado's not on, Nick, then Southern Exposure is going to have a long day.
Yeah, he certainly is, and this is something that I throw back a little bit reminiscent of our first match of the day was, you know, when you look at Matadors and Texas Tyrants, we're a little bit slow to get going. And Southern Exposure, you know, that's the big one that we know they're going to find their way. But right now we're going to take a quick look at the upcoming match, and after this one, we've got our final match of the day, and that's going to be the Chicago Untouchables taking on the OC Stunners. That's a big match for Chicago. They're coming off a 3-0 event number 2. OC Stunners, after doing a big roster overhaul from the last time we were in San Bernardino at event 1, had a strong showing going 2-1, but they've got a big uphill battle trying to score some of those critical points and get back climbing up the standings.
And a big opportunity for the Untouchables to put some separation between themselves and the LA Blaze in that conference with 2 matches to go in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, we're like we talked so much about. This is the do or die weekend here. So as the days progress on, that picture is going to continue to unfold quite rapidly. So looking forward to that and see how it unfolds. But we're getting back into action here with a 12-6 6-point lead for Team Freedom.
Matt Elias will continue to serve, and that's the biggest lead. And we've seen since the second match of the day. The last couple matches have been competitive all the way around. Here's a chance, big back set right side. And unable to get to his feet fast enough was Mushikian, and put away by Lutz, his first kill.
This has long been one of the most talked about things with Team Freedom is they've got so many weapons, so many deep players on that bench. They've got a variety of guys that are involved in this program. So even when some of those brand names, you know, the Chris and Chris duo with Vaughn and Nugent are out, they've got just a variety of ways to get some new names plugged in, and the system and the machine roll on.
Good pass there by Southern Exposure, and that's the result. A put away by Rocklein.
And earlier, that's where I misspoke. Rocklein is a product of University of Central Florida's club volleyball team. And, you know, it's always interesting. We talk so much about NCAA players, and that's where we actually see club players all over the Southern Exposure team. They've got Davis, they've got University of Minnesota, Central Florida, just a variety of spots. Always interesting to see how there are a ton of great club volleyball players that can hang, and we're seeing it here. Southern Exposure trying to battle with the D3 East Coast squad of Team Freedom.
And the reason there's so many club programs that are successful nationally is just because of really the drought of Division I growth in the sport. Division II, Division III, you've seen so many great players navigate there because that's where the opportunities have been, versus D1, which for whatever reason, it just has not caught on as quickly. There have been a couple new programs added in the Northeast in the last couple of years, but the growth in the South has not been, at least at the varsity level, as robust as it has been with the club level, as Arslani swings away. Taking that one up in the back row was Nelson. Arslani rolls it over and gets the spot.
We're seeing Matt Elias do a great job right now distributing to a variety of hitters. He's running his middle. He's relying on Lutz on the backside. He's going to the outsides. They're getting the job done, and all that at the very core of it is the man in blue, number 15, John Cunningham. Love to see him anchoring this team in the libero spot.
Yeah, Cunningham's just very steady in that libero spot. That's a good serve from Seifert over on one.
Back row attack.
Yeah, and that's going to be a violation on Sullivan. That's going to force us to our first,
our only
technical timeout. It's going to be the first of the entire match. Technical timeout sees a 16-8 lead for Team Freedom when we come back.
Focus. Good pass. Put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass. Put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer. Finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me. It'll work for you.
And back here at the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino. After the first technical timeout of the match. Our 4th match of the day. Opening match saw the Tyrants with a 3-2 win over the Ontario Matadors in really what was a sensational seesaw match. Second match saw the Dallas Tornadoes upset the Las Vegas Ramblers for their first win of the year. And our third match saw the Utah Stingers with a sweep of the LA Blaze. Where we are now, 16-9 as Southern Exposure gets themselves a side out.
Yeah, and the big uphill battle right now for Southern Exposure is they're siding out well, but they've got to start earning some real points now to close up this gap, create a little bit of energy, see what they can get going for them. Uchenna Ofoha going back there to get it started.
Cunningham a little tight, and pushing it too far was Zema, and Southern Exposure with back-to-back points. On the floor right now from a defensive standpoint, checking in is former All-American Johnny Gomez, who wears number 5 out of George Mason University. Taking something off of that was Ofoha. Chance here down the line and missing wide. They want to touch and they get the call. John Lutz gets the kill. His second of the match. Lead is 17-10 as Team Freedom. Well, they continue.
A lot of confusion here. Up ref overrules the line about a touch. Southern Exposure just gets, they just clear out what's going on, and they're right back into it all.
No argument at all from the Southern Exposure bench. So Lutz will serve and fires that one. Southern Exposure a little early in the middle, but the paintbrush paints a pretty stroke. Blue Rich with the kill.
Got a little lake to clean up on the court, so Before we get into that, you know, right now, this is exactly what we want to see. We're just at a 9-point deficit, and we're seeing Southern Exposure start to clean that up, right? Just a little 1 and 2s, and this has to be the mindset. You cannot overcome that lump sum all at once. It's going back and it's getting 1 real point, scoring an additional 1 serve every time you go back on the run. Those little bits is going to be how they kind of keep knocking at that door and fight their way back into this match. See if Mercado can open something up here.
Chance here to run something. Zema that's dug up by Mercado and sent deep by Gomez. In transition, outside to Arslani, who's blocked. Combination of Sullivan and Lurich.
Love to see Sullivan get that one back, because big mistake there. They've got Johnny Gomez in as a back row outside passer for just 1 rotation, or like 1 back row 3-set rotation here. And so he set Gomez on the pick route, and that is not what Gomez, their second libero, wants to be hitting. So nice to Sullivan to get that block and shut that one back down.
Deep float by Mercado. And across court, run down by D'Agostino and sent over. Chance here to run something, and back-to-back blocks. This time Zema is stuffed by Mushikian and Lurich.
You know, we see Lurich, number 8. He is just one of those guys, you can't say his name enough. He and Ryan Mounty from the Tyrants have been 2 middles that just have come out of nowhere for the league. They're stellar parts of some of these middle tier teams that are fighting for those top spots, and their success is a key and integral part of where their success lies. So love to see him getting involved. And you know, 2 months ago in this gym, we saw him getting a player of the match, and as a middle, that can be a difficult task to do.
If you got the talent, teams will find you, regardless of where you played your collegiate volleyball, or if you even played at all. And if you're an international player, there is a home for you on these clubs as they continue to evolve. That is passed by Lutz, and then sent deep by Nelson. Chance for Southern Exposure. Mercado gets the touch for the kill.
And all of a sudden, it's a 4-point lead. And this is just it, the baby steps. Now we see that Rocklein substitution undone. Johnny Gomez heading back to the bench. And I love to see that. Coach O.J. Catalan over there knows his personnel. And when you've got Gomez, who was their starting libero prior to D'Agostino's arrival, it's a great way to utilize that bench, get the most out of it. So good management there for the roster.
Pass by Arslani, swinging away and getting the result is Nelson, his first kill of the match. Gomez is good enough of a libero to play for any team in the league. So the fact that you have him and D'Agostino on your roster, certainly great utility weapons to have.
As someone that follows all these teams relentlessly and religiously, seeing them pick up D'Agostino, I was so excited, but I couldn't believe it, because, you know, D'Agostino, that meant that he and Johnny Gomez were fighting for the same spot. And like you said, Gomez is one of the best in the league, no doubt. So always one of those tough things, you know, so much talent, and that's just the way it goes. But you'd love to see the league upgrading like that across the board.
And exciting to see somebody like Gomez be able to come in, and I think that's a big part of the reason that Southern Exposure's been able to make this run, because he steadied the defense back there alongside D'Agostino. Now a chance for Team Freedom. That is dug up by Southern Exposure. Swing away is Lurich. Chance in transition. Out of the back row, Arslani high off the block. Arslani will set it. Now Elias, and that is too long. Oh, missing the opportunity was John Lutz.
All right, guys, I think we just had an NVA first, at least for the 2021 season. We see number 8, Tim Lurich, step in there, digs a ball, and then because of where all the players were, he gets bump set in A ball. And a set you don't ever really heard talk about, rips that one down the line, so extends the rally here, but uncharacteristic miss, puts a period on the end of that serving sentence. And down by 4, but a great run by Lurich all the same.
For those who aren't familiar with that type of set, can you give a description to those who may not have been able to watch that?
Sure, it's a ball that generally goes to left back, but because that's where your libero sits, it's a set that pretty much sees zero action ever, especially at higher levels. So saying an A ball is something of a rarity. The only time you might see something similar is when a team has a middle blocker serving and they play middle back defense, moving your outside hitter to left back, so they run a little bit more of a hybrid route to establish a back row attack. So outside of that situation, pretty much unseen entirely, but Lurich ready to get it done all the same.
Now we had a solar eclipse yesterday, so why not an A ball here today? It's 20 to 17. Team Freedom trying to sustain this lead. That is off the hands for the kill for John Lutz, his third.
Lutz is definitely in good form. Last time we saw him play, he was playing well out in Event 1, but a little hit and miss, hot and cold. But right now, he's having a great match, really delivering and anchoring this offense for Team Freedom. Nice adjustment considering their personnel management that they're working on.
So we're going to see a timeout here for Southern Exposure. Still trailing by 4. And for Team Freedom, they've had the lead. They faced some adversity already. I think that's actually probably good for Team Freedom, be able to open up such a wide lead early on, get challenged, and still be able to sustain it.
It really is, and you know, again, we always talk about this. These are best of fives, 5-set matches. They're gonna go the distance. You've got plenty of time. Right now, Southern Exposure just needs to keep battling, find what's working for them. We haven't seen them run the middle too much. We saw Lou Rich start to get a little bit of a rhythm going, but you got Uchenna Ofoha, who's certainly more offensive than even Lou Rich. So if they can shore up that passing, we saw Johnny Gomez start to kind of find a little bit of a system for him. That's going to be a great option for them. And you know, you've got to be able to take some swings back at the big man number 12 Seifert on the side of Team Freedom.
We haven't said Ofoha's name at all offensively in this one, and I hope for Southern Exposure's sake that they're able to find a way to feed the big man.
We are all ready to go, and we're about to get underway coming out of that timeout.
So Nelson to serve, his team up by 4. Sullivan's, oh, they listened to the advice, and it pays off.
Mark another one down for the commentating crew. Love to see that go to the middle right out of the timeout. Uchenna Ofoha draws blood.
His first kill, it's a 3-point deficit, and Rocklein will serve. Goes deep to Cunningham. Right side, it's a little bit behind Lutz, so he has to send it over. And then in the middle, back to back, Ofoha through the earth.
East on, thank you. That all starts. I had myself muted there, so I'm over here yelling my lungs out. Love to see it. That all starts though from a free ball coming from Team Freedom, and that's exactly why free balls are so important. And you know, at the high level, we talk about a half point, and a half point is basically it's one of those concepts that instead of always swinging for the kill, it's knowing how to, based on a given set, who the blockers are in front of you, how the rally's going. It's putting the team that you're hitting at in a difficult position to score right away. So you're positioning yourself to get kind of that free ball back or whatever it might be. Now in that case, Team Freedom, a little bit of a miscommunication. They don't find Lutz on that set the way they want, so he's got to free ball it over. Now, that's where I'm going to be a little critical. I think he needs to go elsewhere. Instead, he puts it right into the platform and the breadbasket of Ofoha, gives himself a great pass, and you know Sullivan is going right back to the big man. 2 kills in a row. There it is. We talked about getting your middles activated. We'll wait no longer. The man in black and pink firing on all cylinders.
That's our first England's Insight of the match. This is a segment of the program that certainly needs a sponsor, so reach out to us if you'd like to sponsor England's Insights.
And if you haven't seen yet, we've been adding commercials from proud sponsors all across the league and for different teams. So plenty of opportunities to get involved, get your name seen, and become a part of the NBA. It is never too late. But for everyone at home that is checking this out on this fine Friday afternoon, make sure to hit that like button down below on YouTube. There are ways to support the NBA beyond just watching. Engaging with us on social media and letting us know what you think about the league are always great ways. We love your support and we love hearing from our fans. So like, subscribe, and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere social media.
And I learned more from listening to you talk about volleyball than I ever will from a Netflix documentary. That for sure is Ofoha. They continue to feed the monster, and he continues to deliver 3 in a row. Where have you been all match? That's right, they haven't set him. And they finally have got clued in, as that is the mismatch.
It really is. And you talk about, you know, it all comes from the pass. Passing settling down for Southern Exposure. Love to see it happen.
They go outside. Arslani misses wide. That's a crucial miss, because now it's a 1-point game.
And one of the biggest things that makes Southern Exposure this dangerous, dangerous weapon is the fact that they are able to just hit jump serve after jump serve, consistent, minimize errors, and pass well. That just puts every team against them on the back foot.
Little tight, sending it to open space was Lutz to tie it. And missing wide was Mercado. And golden break here for Team Freedom, which was feeling the pressures. And the pressure was on them. They're the ones who had the, I think it was a 9-point lead at one point.
Yeah, 7 or 9. I said, I think it was 7. I think 7 was the number we got to, but at this point it was a large one all the same, and we're back at it with D'Agostino passing.
One-on-one and sticking it through was Mashikian for his second kill. And still a 1-point game now.
Mushikian doing a good job as the middle. We're seeing Zima coming across there, number 6. Not quite ready on that move to the outside. Good tempo from Sullivan, and Mushikian just challenging the block there, making it work for him.
Mercado, Arslani with the pass. They go outside again to Arslani, and it is outside the antennas. The set was too wide, and wow, we are even at 23. And Team Freedom's going to talk this one over.
All right, and we want to talk a little bit more. We're talking some sponsors, and the big one we want to shout out right now is Next Level Volleyball, a proud sponsor of both of these teams. Next Level Volleyball is dedicated to providing opportunities for young volleyball athletes to learn and compete at the next level. Next Level was created to provide unique volleyball camps and clinics catered to your program's needs. They have a wealth of coaching experience with a staff that consists of college coaches, professional players and coaches, and former All-Americans on the men's and women's side. They've now partnered with Southern Exposure, Team Freedom, and the Chicago Untouchables, professional men's volleyball teams competing in the NBA. Next Level Volleyball will travel to your club, school, or college to train players at an elite level and give them opportunities to learn from people at the next level. The staff will help with more than just physical training skills. They also focus on building the intangibles, your mindset, your work ethic, volleyball IQ, and more. Some academies will offer recruiting seminars for the parents. Help your young, aspiring athletes rise to the next level and register for a camp or clinic in your area. With that all said, Mercado back to go after it. Jump serve here.
And an ace by Mercado in a timely spot. And Southern Exposure's on the verge of an enormous comeback to open our 4th match.
They certainly are. Energy is high over there for the boys in black and pink. You'll love to see it. Mercado just got one more serve to see if he's able to overcome it.
Back-to-back aces, and Southern Exposure has risen. They win game number 1, 25-23. After facing certain death early on.
And you'll love to see it. Chad Mercado struggled to find the kill down the line. That would have brought us to a close match at 21 apiece. But right there, he delivers 2 aces back-to-back out of the timeout. The man is stone cold.
We'll see how Team Freedom is able to respond to this one when we come back for game number 2 here in San Bernardino.
Hi. I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Meet Tom. Tom is the shipping manager for an e-commerce company specializing in unique, high-end home furnishings. Because these aren't your typical everyday pieces, Tom's often biting his nails every time a shipment leaves the warehouse. His discerning customers will notice every ding, dent, or scratch, which is why Tom trusts one company, RPM Expedite's dedicated network. RPM specializes in hard-to-handle freight that needs a reliable, damage-free shipping approach. RPM boasts 99.3% damage-free delivery. RPM also makes it easy for Tom to customize his shipments. With pricing options, and for transparency and peace of mind, Tom can access RPM's online portal for booking, tracing, and tracking shipments. And of course, if he ever has questions or needs assistance, Tom can always access RPM's round-the-clock customer service. Call RPM Expedite today for your customized, hard-to-handle shipping solution, or visit us online at www.rpmexpediteusa.com.
Hey, my name is Travis, and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year, we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
Well, in our first set of the match, you talked about how when you face a huge deficit, you have to chip away point at a time. That's what Southern Exposure absolutely did there. A colossal comeback.
It certainly was, and that's what makes Southern Exposure so dangerous. Is their outsides are consistent, but they hit jump serve after jump serve after jump serve. They're consistent. They minimize errors, and then right as you're feeling like maybe you've got to read on those pins, boom, they activate Luridge, they activate Ofoha, and all of a sudden the middle produces 5 points in the latter part of that set. And man, that feels terrible when you think you've got a read on the match if you're Team Freedom, and then all of a sudden you just catch that left hook that Southern Exposure throws out of nowhere.
How do you respond to this if you're Team Freedom? You had such a substantial lead and couldn't keep it going.
You know, anchor it in your passing. Pass first, swing away.
And Arslani was unable to keep that one alive, and the first kill of the second set belongs to Rocklein. So Sullivan to serve, 1-0 Southern Exposure in the lead. And that is too long. No changes in the lineup yet here for Southern, I should say for Team Freedom. Southern Exposure keeps the same lineup out on the floor that pulled off probably the biggest comeback we have seen, maybe the whole season, quite frankly. You're down, I think it was 9. I think it was at one point, I want to say it was 17-8. And then they scored 2 in a row.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was more than substantial. It really was, and there's a great move from D'Agostino coming across the middle, but not quite able to pop that one up, and that's going to be a point going the way of Freedom. And you know, you talked about how do you come back from this. The thing is Team Freedom is so well-rounded with their offensive threats. Matt Elias runs a great offense. They've just got to, if they stick that pass and they're able to battle with it, that's where they're really going to be successful. So that's the really #1 step to key to success here.
They go outside, and he's sent over by Mercado to extend the play. In the middle, Seifert dug up. This time they swing away a second time on a free ball, and it is Lutz that comes through, but I'm still in awe of the fact they were able to get hands on that swing by Seifert, which would look certain to be falling in.
Hey, I think D'Agostino appreciates you said he got hands on it, because that was all chest. My guy was angled perfectly, though. Great setup, ready to battle it out, and that's a great move. But Freedom, the Consulant pros here, able to get that one, and then send the next point long as I kind of peter out there with that one. Tough, but Rocklein back to serve now for Exposure.
A good libero will get something on it, and D'Agostino chest is attached to the arms, which is attached to the hands. And we see a 3-2 lead for Team Freedom with Rocklein serving.
Jump serve chipped in here, handled by Rocklein, goes to the middle, backside to Mercado. Mercado with a little thumb down, looks for the touch. Touch doesn't matter when you can't touch the net. That's going to be Team Freedom with a net infraction right there. And Southern Exposure receives the point for the aggressive swing. Mercado draws the foul, as it were, right there. So that's a great play for them, and they're happy to get that one all the same.
4-3 lead for Team Freedom. Ofoha will serve, so we've got 3 kills, and this one. That's poked over by Lutz. Chance here for Exposure, back row. off-balance attempt there by Rocklein, and that is too far. Another attack error on Freedom. Lutz missing.
And that's where I want to talk. I want to go back to something I mentioned earlier in terms of free balling. So Rocklein, a little bit of a miscommunication where that big set was going between Sullivan and Rocklein. However, Rocklein was able to take Elias out by going to him first. So no setter means a less accurate second ball. So Southern Exposure gets something back for having an accurate free ball.
And our Team Freedom is able to get that off of the high hands to get back in the kill column. His second kill of the match. And Team Freedom finds itself up by 1, 5-4. And we'll see Seifert serving. Zemma back in the front row, who hasn't said his name since early on in game number 1. And that's put back down. Chance for Freedom. Here's a free ball opportunity. They go right side. Lutz, center of the court. His 5th kill.
Unfortunate there, D'Agostino on 2 puts that one over. Didn't quite find the cross-court move he was looking for when he was trying to send that to Mercado on the right side. And that's going to be a free ball taken care of by Team Freedom. Love to see that for them. They are now up by 2 at 6-4 with Seifert back there.
See if Seifert keep the train rolling here as Team Freedom. So losing a set that they had well in control, needs to find an answer here. Can't go down 2-0. That'll help as that sails long.
Nice cross-court set from Mercado, and Mushikian tries to step in and find some hands, but unable to do so there. So Freedom showing that discipline now. That's what they needed to answer back after that tough beat in set 1.
Seifert taking his time to read this. There's a line drive off of the hands of Mushikian, who's going to find an open spot on the floor. Seifert extends and sent over by Nelson. Dug up by Freedom. Chance for Arslani, swinging away off the shoulder. A poke, and Mercado gets a swing. Arslani again, and it clips the antenna.
Wow, what a great effort by both sides. You see the big man, 6'10", Seifert laying out, going into our awesome sponsor, LED wall here in front of us. You see Mushikian playing some off-block defense with his shoulder, keeps that one alive. A lot of great heads-up play from both sides, some swings in transition. You'll love to see that great effort.
And you see the quick reaction from these players. Ball's coming so quickly and still able to get a useful touch on it to extend the play. Kato serves, takes something off of it. Zemma was there for the pass. They go back to Lutz, and a second antenna violation. And Team Freedom has seen its lead cut to 7-5.
2 swings in a row, and
out 7-6.
Coach Justin Beaumont heads out to let his guys know, hey guys, that antenna, you hit that one, and that ends the rally. 2 in a row. They might have been trying to employ a new strategy, but I think they're going to try to end that one pretty quick.
Arslani with the pass. They go again to Lutz. Not a great set, so he has to send it to open space. And swinging away and sticking it through the block was Mushikian for the kill.
That's the benefit of getting someone like D'Agostino, or so many of these experienced NBA liberos. That free ball comes over, and D'Agostino is going to take 85% of them, gets in there, puts that ball in the hands of Sullivan, and you've got a quick tempo offense coming back.
Jump float there, Arslani with the pass. They go back to Bez, and he swings too long. Another attack error.
And you called that a jump float, and you're not wrong, but something I love about this is a hybrid serve. So watch, you're gonna see Mercado toss with top spin, and depending on how he sees the toss or what he's wanting, he'll either hit a top spin jump serve, or he'll take all the rotation off that and go to a float. There's the top spin, goes to the float, little hybrid there.
In the middle, Zemma dug up there by Mushikian, it's sent over. They go to Bez, he goes back row. Here's the pass, and splitting the block, Mushikian off the assist from D'Agostino.
Love to see that. All 5'11" of number 2, Eddie Mushikian from King College. He's very proud of being a King College alumni. Proud to see them represented here. Swings through that triple block. Great point for Exposure.
And that service error will end the 5-0 run for Southern Exposure.
What a run indeed. We keep talking about the serving prowess of Exposure, and there was certainly an exposing of the Team Freedom serve receive right there by Mercado.
Lutz too deep.
And that's where this is such an interesting matchup to me, is these are two teams that generally do a great job of minimizing errors. So when you have this continued service pressure from Southern Exposure, it begins to force Team Freedom to either up their serving pressure or lock in their passing. And right now, it's kind of pulling away for Southern Exposure at a 2-point lead.
The Lutz swinging away again, another block back, run down. It's going to be a center line violation on Elias.
Yep, one of those tough ones. He's coming at a full sprint out of the back row, dodging players and not able to stay on his side of the net. A 3-point lead now for Southern Exposure.
And it becomes, there's going to be a timeout here by Team Freedom, as it is a huge run now, 7-1 for Southern Exposure. We'll take a look at our standings. And the Ramblers, the Stingers, the Tyrants in the American Conference, based on the results today, well, they are in a dogfight. That is for sure.
Yep, it really is, and that one's going to be broken down, not shown on our standing. That goes now to points head-to-head, so if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head, I think Stingers take that in first, Ramblers in second, Tyrants in third. But, you know, getting no points for the Ramblers today and 3 for the Stingers and Tyrants, that certainly starts to become a bit of a points race there, and those teams are going to be jostling all weekend long, and that's going to be critical because that's going to affect who they play in that fourth event in the playoffs. And right now with Stunners down in that 4th seed, they might jump a spot or 2 this weekend. That's going to really throw a curveball in someone playing a team that is not well represented by their seed. So teams are all trying to make some dodges in the first round all the same.
The Untouchables, of course, play our last match tonight. They'll take on the Stunners. 2 teams are currently in 4th place in each of their conferences. Team Freedom, Southern Exposure. Freedom's got a 2-match lead on Southern Exposure in the standings, but that could evaporate very quickly with Southern Exposure if they win today, and Team Freedom's got a tough schedule this weekend. So that is sent over after the timeout. In the middle, Zema off the net. And I don't think you're allowed to do that. Everybody's going to get a laugh. Well, Mercado can certainly play tight end in the NFL with plays like that.
Southern Exposure not happy with the call for a lift there, not understanding why catching the ball and dunking it over the net is unallowed. Just because you haven't seen it before doesn't mean it's not okay. We're just here to revolutionize the game all the same.
Revolutionize the game indeed. As Arslani will serve now, his team down 2. And leaves it short.
One thing I do know for certain is serving in the net is never a good strategy. We'll see it now back to Southern Exposure.
And this is the service errors are killing Team Freedom right now, as we see Tim Lurich, the University of Minnesota club native, serving. Goes down the line, and another error. Serving wide is also not really condoned.
Yeah, there's a big white box on the court. That is a nice big target. Go over the net in the court is one of my favorites when I'm struggling to get that all together. You know, over the net in the court, just keep reminding yourself. Say it enough and you'll visualize it into fruition.
Sort of like that. An ace for Zema.
Over the net in the court at its very, very best.
And Zema picks up his first ace, and the first ace of the match for Team Freedom.
That's that serving pressure to answer back. Got to see it.
12-11, Southern Exposure up by 1 now, 2, as ace is responded to with a service error.
Zema over there having a little, am I saying that right? You're the, Zema?
It is Zema.
Zema having a little tea party, gets the ace and then misses the serve. That's 2 points that he wanted to be the only guy playing and said the other 11 guys can just take a seat.
If I'm saying Zema wrong, I've been saying it wrong for about a decade. So as that is off the block and put away for the kill by Jeff Nelson. Doug Zema is from Manalapan, New Jersey. God, I almost got the name of the town wrong, which is right next to where I live in Jersey. And that would be a fatal flaw. as Elias clips the tape in the middle. Oh, Matt Seifert with the block of the big man.
Love to see that. Seifert's got so much size, but able to slow down Uchenna Ofoha, who has been so far on a tear with those 3 kills back to back to end the first set.
We'll see how Team Freedom responds to that block. Well, they go right back to Ofoha, and Ofoha says, try it again.
Yeah, and you love to see that, right? We call that a setback, and that's your setter going straight back to the guy that maybe had a hitting error or got blocked, something like that. Sullivan likes to keep his guys involved, so great move from him. Love that tactic, and a setter believes in his guys and gets it done.
And the service error there on Rocklein. We'll see Gomez come in for him defensively in the back row, and that's obviously no slight at all to the defense that Rocklein plays. It's just the fact that you talked about it in the first set, having a weapon like Gomez defensively on the bench, got to employ him somehow.
Certainly the case.
And more service errors. And
to dive in a little bit, since we got the service errors, I'm gonna brighten the tone here a little bit. We're dropping
please,
some
because
knowledge.
it's popping the balloon in the room.
Yes. So the other thing to keep in mind here, when you've got your outside 1 and outside 2 rolls, that basically right now you've got 3 hitters front row, which means that it's okay to pull the back row option. If you had only 2 hitters front row because your setter is up there, then that becomes really hard to make that substitution, pulling Rocklein out. But since he's back row with 3 hitters front row,
Seifert destroys it.
you can make that little substitution, still have Mercado on the right, 3 hitting options, and it's not going to damage the offensive situation that Sullivan can run here for Southern Exposure. So it works out for a variety of reasons. Nice little nod all the same. But like you said, Seifert gets the train for Freedom back on the rails, tied up at 15 and now on the service line.
And Matt Seifert damaged the floor there with that swing. They go outside, rolled, no, it's outside the antenna, so Team Freedom has bounced back. It's this time Team Freedom overcoming adversity, and that takes us to our technical timeout. Great one here in game 2, 16-15, Freedom on top of Exposure.
The flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Well, Team Freedom faced an uphill battle of its own, and coming into this timeout, right now they have the momentum swinging back. Matt Seifert's going to serve, but Team Freedom has to be happy with how they've responded.
Yeah, they're definitely getting in there, playing the gritty game, and Lou Rich answering in kind. It is now 16 apiece. Big swing out of the middle. I love right now, every single middle is getting their licks in, and they're getting a chance to get their name said. You love to see it across the board. Speaks to the quality of defense and serve receive both these teams are showcasing here right now.
Obviously, getting the middles involved completely changes the outcome of a match because it allows the pin hitters to face more of an ISO attack.
Mushikian goes for the triple block there. Doesn't, he's just a tad late. And a nice aggressive swing to attack it all the same on the outside there.
So the kill for Team Freedom gives them back a 1-point lead, and it'll be John Lutz to serve. Lutz takes a little bit off that, almost a free ball. Joust there, and they'll send back over and sent wide. Sullivan will want that one back, as he and Arslani did battle at the tape.
Yeah, you saw 3 one-handed poke attempts there from Sullivan, but just can't quite find the one he wants. And Freedom now opens up that lead to 2. Lutz kind of a little bit easier of a serve, but it's in all the same, and that's the most important part.
And facing no blocker. And Mercado, did he miss? Looks like he did. And that would push the lead to 3, 19-16. And that's going to force a timeout here, Southern Exposure. They found an answer in the first set. Will they be able to do it here from behind?
You know, it really just comes down to we're seeing Freedom beat Southern Exposure the same way that, you know, Southern Exposure beat them in the first. Is they start minimizing those mistakes. They start locking it down, and all of a sudden, you know, you see the hitting errors come out, the pressure's back on Southern Exposure, and we're seeing those balls go long. Now, the worst thing that can happen is, even if you disagree with that call, do not make that your mental state of mind. You've got to stay dialed in. You've got to be ready to go back and rip another swing, because if you're not, this is where you start to just sink your own ship. Just keep things on an even keel, get the boys relaxed with this timeout, come back out, keep swinging. It's all about the passing game. Southern Exposure more than capable of making this happen right now.
Well, they proved it in the first set, and now the ball will remain in the hands of John Lutz, who's already had about 6 kills unofficially based on my tally sheet, and he will serve again. Better pass here for Southern Exposure. Cunningham drops to the knee for the pass. They go outside. Arslani, useful roll spot. Can Southern Exposure capitalize from the back row? Oh, they set Gomez, who swings away. And then blast by Bez. Off of the shoulder.
Like the rip there from Gomez. It was just Mushikian was just trying to keep that ball alive. So good on Gomez, just keep that ball swinging. But right now we are seeing the serving pressure from Lutz. It's just being too much for Southern Exposure to handle. There's the man, the unit right there, number 18. Having a lot of success so far. Getting a little court wipe down. And right now, Southern Exposure, air that ball out, keep it high, 8 to 10 feet off the net. Just get your guys, get Sullivan a chance to run an offense.
Big toss by Lutz, and this time a little too high as he leaves it short to end the run for Team Freedom. Still up by 3, and we will see dropping back to serve Eddie Mushikian, former King College product.
Also, we see that substitution with Gomez and Rocklein undone.
When it comes undone. And Lutz, out of the back row, gets the result.
Great move by Matt Elias there. Goes against the grain, and we don't see any result. No blocker home. And now we see Tyler Hubbard-Neal, number 1, subbing in for Eddie Mushikian. Just looking for a little bit of a change of pace, maybe a little ball control, and sometimes just slowing the game down altogether. Southern Exposure down by 4, definitely a good time to get some change made.
Arslani to serve. He goes right after Hubbard-Neal, who checked right in, as you probably would expect. And sticking it through the block is Rocklein for the kill.
What a set. That was from way downtown. D'Agostino airs that ball out. Great set over his shoulder, over the back, and just a fantastic move all around. Great swing there on the outside from Rocklein.
Yeah, he's so good. We see it every time. We don't even say D'Agostino's name too much as a libero, but he makes his impact felt every time he's out there. And that off the block, getting the kill is Jeff Nelson making his own impact.
You know, Nelson's been doing his work, doing his piece. We talk so much about Chris Nugent, Chris Vaughn is that dynamic duo. Sprinkle a little bit of Josh Castillo, but all 3 are absent here this weekend. They're looking to some names that you don't normally hear in the white and blue. So to see him come out, have a good passing match so far, and contributing offensively, that's what you want to see. And, you know, that really speaks to what's so important with these rosters. You have 20 roster spots for the season. Everything's locked in. So, you know, you're trying to do a little balance of getting your consistent guys in the area that you can recruit, train with year-round. There's a variety of overseas players that from your area, you're kind of waiting until that April timeframe when they start coming back from overseas. So you've got to kind of do some management, find out who your guys are going to be, and then you've got to figure out who you're going to travel to each event. So it just speaks to knowing your role, the mental fortitude. You're going to get your chance, and these guys stepping up, answering the call. And if you're going to be a 5-1 Team Freedom, that's what it takes.
Well, you know the old adage the coaches say, next man up, and they've had to have two next man up here. And they have a chance to tie this match 1-1. That will help as the power tip by Nelson into a useful spot in the back row. And man, now if you're Team Freedom, how much is giving away that first set come back to haunt you? Could be a 2-0 lead here as they are 2 points away from evening the match. Mercado, no chance there as that set was so far off the mark, he couldn't even bump it over. And we are facing 6 set points for Team Freedom. As Dr. Doug Zema serves it away, little floater. In the middle, reach out and stuff someone! Matt Seifert with an exclamation mark to end the game, and Team Freedom with the 25-18 win, and we're even at 1 set apiece. We will go to a commercial and come back to set up set number 3 here in San Bernardino.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Meet Tom. Tom is the shipping manager for an e-commerce company specializing in unique, high-end home furnishing. Because these aren't your typical everyday pieces, Tom's often biting his nails every time a shipment leaves the warehouse. His discerning customers will notice every ding, dent, or scratch, which is why Tom trusts one company, RPM Expedite's dedicated network. RPM specializes in hard-to-handle freight that needs a reliable, damage-free shipping approach. RPM boasts 99.3% damage-free delivery. RPM also makes it easy for Tom to customize his shipments with pricing options, and for transparency and peace of mind, Tom can access RPM's online portal for booking, tracing, and tracking shipments. And of course, if he ever has questions or needs assistance, Tom can always access RPM's round-the-clock customer service. Call RPM Expedite today for your customized, hard-to-handle shipping solution, or visit us online at www.rpmexpediteusa.com.
And there you see a great look at that commercial starring Freedom outside hitter Chris Vaughn, Pit Viper Sunglasses, proud sponsor of Team Freedom. Check them out on Instagram at Pit Viper. Use coupon code FREEDOMVBC. They're voted the 69th best sunglass brand page by your mom. Sunglasses, hats, apparel, and other cool stuff for cool people. Check them out. Love to see those guys out there. So many grass players and beach players on Team Freedom. They're always repping those sick glasses, so check them out.
We don't need sick glasses indoors here, as the Pierce Sports Center has seen some rays of light from both sides. Team Freedom very easily could be winning 2-0 right now, and the fact that they were able to come to disappointment of that opening game I mean, meltdown, I guess is the best way to describe it, and still come out victorious decisively in game number 2, I think says a lot about their perseverance.
It really does, and one of those things you've got to keep an eye on, and it always leaves you in a very binary situation. You sit there and you say, okay, is Southern Exposure showing a little late game set 1 resurgence that they're going to come back from, or was it a fluke and Team Freedom is still in control of this match? And if you look at set 2, Team Freedom still looks in control, but Southern Exposure not ready to roll over, except for the fact that there was a nice roll over the top there from Chad Mercado to score the first point for Southern Exposure. We're back into it 1-0.
Yeah, Chad Mercado doing a useful spot there to get his team out in front. As Southern Exposure, we'll see how they respond now. Oh, that was a dig off a big swing from Seifert. Seifert wanted it again. They don't go back to him. Oh, diving, extending the hand is D'Agostino. Chance here in transition. They go to Nelson, and digging that one up is Mashikian. 4th chance here for Freedom. Arslani had to stop because he would have been a back row attacker, and he sent it too long.
You talk about a defensive lights out performance. There it is, Southern Exposure, Mashikian all over the court. D'Agostino in that baby blue says, hit it at me, I got my helmet on. What a great set of defensive moves from Southern Exposure.
And then Mashikian to serve. They go outside again, and missing it short is Lutz.
This is that apprehension, you know. I love seeing these two teams battle because it's a matter of who's going to come out swinging at what speed. And right now there's a little bit of Freedom looking like they might be on the back foot, down by 3. Certainly not one to count them out, but they've got to clean this up a bit.
In the middle, Seifert, and a solo stuff put down by Lurich, his 3rd.
Wow, this is just the all-out performance from Middles. I love seeing them get involved. I love seeing them block each other. Everyone throwing everything they got, and it's great because sometimes you can see these one-sided matchups where one team's passing so well that they can run the middles and the other team can't, or the personnel there aren't really a fair matchup. But these teams are trading blows. You'll love to see it. Seifert going after Lurich, Lurich going after Seifert, Uchenna Ofoha trying to break the floor, and all together just a great performance from the middles here in this match.
Yeah, and Lurich, we haven't said his name a ton in this one, but able to slow down the Seifert train, which has really been rolling. He's the middle that, obviously he's their middle 1. He's their gun. Even with that said, he's more of a blocking middle than an attacking middle. That role has more fallen either on Zema or, we haven't said his name at all yet today, but Mikael Hoyt, aka Zebra, who hasn't played. They're the ones who you go to more often for some offense, and Seifert's been able to say, hey, I am absolutely capable of leading the train.
And right now, Southern Exposure is all aboard that train, going to be serving down the line here with that screen all set up.
Read that one perfectly. In the middle, Seifert swings away again, and back-to-back stuffs as Lurich chalks another up, his 4th.
Wow, what a performance from number 8. You'll love to see him getting back involved, and man, he is so comfortable in this gym, showing us some stellar performances back-to-back.
And Lurich gives up 4 inches to Seifert, who is 6'9" versus 6'5", and that's how you answer it, as Bez Arslani puts one through, his 4th kill.
Very timely and much needed. You've got to end that run ASAP. Team Freedom able to get it back on the service line for them. See if Jeff's able to create a little bit of momentum.
Nelson, he goes after Rocklein. From the back row, swinging away is Mashikian. Seifert's there for the touch. They go to Lutz, who rolls it over. D'Agostino's waiting for it. And slotting it through for the much-needed kill is Kevin Rocklein.
And right now you see Southern Exposure going balls to the wall, doing everything they can to extend every single rally, no free points. That gets very exhausting. If you've ever been a big hitter that starts getting dug and you keep seeing it over and over, it starts to wear you down physically and mentally. We'll see if it starts to play out and impact the match here.
Right side again, and high off the hands. Useful spot to respond, John Lutz. It's his 8th kill, and that leads both teams.
I love that tempo of set from Matt Elias going back with a little bit of speed. The ball beats it to Uchenna Ofoha, the middle to the pin there. Creates a little bit of space, and John Lutz taking complete advantage of that.
Now, Seifert served really well in the last set. See if he's able to deliver here. And that's going to be into the net on Team Freedom, so the ball goes back to Southern Exposure.
Right now, we're just seeing that net discipline and control. Couple blocks, good touches, big moves.
Southern Exposure, of course, out of Florida, so very Central Florida based on their roster. Team Freedom out of North Jersey, so very, well, Jersey and Pennsylvania based.
We are going to take one little break here. We've got some blood. Eddie Mushikian cut open his elbow, so he's going to get that wrapped up. And while we talk about the importance of a trainer, I want to give a quick shout out to Pursue Physical Therapy. You check them out on Pursue PT now on Instagram. They've got an office in Verona, New Jersey, and they're the most outstanding team for all your physical therapy needs. They work with Team Freedom. Love to see these guys getting support from Pursue Physical Therapy.
That is a pros pro of a transition there, Mr. England. Taking advantage of a cut to promote our sponsors, who we are so thankful for their involvement in helping the NVA and its clubs thrive. And, well, the sports medicine staff here, they get the work done quickly as they patch up Eddie Mushikian as if nothing had ever happened. Sullivan will go back row here to the freshly taped up Mushikian, but
back row attack.
He might not be bleeding, but he's going to want a Band-Aid on that swing.
Certainly will. Back row attack, steps on the line, that 3-meter line you see across the court, 10-foot line, whatever you want to call it. We're special here in the U.S. and refuse to use the metric system, so there it is.
I was about to say, I've been calling the 10-foot line my whole life. I've been recently trying to embrace the metric system, and as that kill will fall into the back line, which does not have any metric measurement I can compare it to.
And there it is. You see, that's the 10-meter line, I guess.
Is that 30 feet?
30 by 30, yep.
I see kilometers on my dashboard when driving, and I get nervous. I feel like I broke the car. Arslani, too deep, another attack error. He has kind of been hit or miss today, and I think because of that, we're going to see a change coming here from coaches Justin Beaumont and Carlo Edra, and we are going to see the NVA debut of the young man we mentioned in the Open today, and that is Jake Rosner. He's out of UC Santa Barbara. He's their one Southern California member of the roster. Oh, from the back row, John Lutz explodes.
Lutz is still putting in work. You'll love to see that damage right there.
Rosner comes in and now has the ball in his hands. We'll see what he does. He's an AVP Beach Pro Tour member and making his debut here as he takes a little off that serve in the middle. And Uchenna Ofoha, his 5th kill. Ofoha will go back to serve. Such a dangerous weapon when they employ him. And the lead is 10-4 early here for Southern Exposure trying to pull away. Down the line, they go after Nelson. Nelson will roll that right into the waiting hands of Sullivan. Mercado swings away. Cunningham's ready for it. And tipping it over, waiting for that was Mercado after Lutz swung away. And finally, Blue Ridge says enough.
Once again, the middle involvement, you love to see it in transition. It's a great run there from Sullivan, and Lou Rich working hard to get up in transition once again.
And the lead swells to 7 as the largest lead that Southern Exposure has had yet today. Nelson with the pass. In the middle, Dr. Doug misses long.
Team Freedom trying to find someone that's going to be able to complement Lutz. We're seeing him hammer in balls on all sides right now, but you need 2 guys at least that are starting to produce consistently, and they've got to find out what that second answer is.
Wonder if they do indeed go to Joe Norman at some point. Nelson misses long, and their pins, well, they are non-existent right now.
I think the problem is, though, yeah, you might go to Norman, but I think that, yep, they're warming him up right now. I think the problem is that Lutz is really the redeeming offensive, factor. So really got to start shoring up some of the outside consistency right now, but it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds all the same.
Good pass by Cunningham. They go back to Lutz, and he blows it by. Well, he picks up his 10th kill. Question is, Lutz obviously is an opposite. Norman is an opposite. Would you push one of them to the outside and match them up that way?
And that's where, unfortunately, they're on the wrong coast for me to have the little England insight on who can pass and if they can make that happen.
There's nothing wrong about this coast. Nothing wrong with that swing as Lutz destroys it, his 11th kill.
This is exactly what I'm saying. Don't take off the one guy that's dialed in right now. Lutz is performing in system, out of system, all systems go. Finds big kill on the right side.
Zema will serve. His team still down by 7. And they chip away. And that won't start here as Lurich another kill. And it grows to 14-6. As Southern Exposure doing a little dancing on the sideline as they are happy again. And we'll see what Mercado is able to do. Mercado's been rather quiet for his standards. Only 4 kills by my tally sheet. Lutz slots it through.
He's 3 for 3 ever since we mentioned that Joe Norman warm-up. We're sitting here on the front row of all the action, so we see exactly what these benches are doing. But, if that guy, we're seeing Lutz putting up the numbers, he's gotta be the answer right now and keep riding his back.
In the middle, Cunningham's waiting for the tip. Lutz again, Lutz dropping bombs.
Put the team on his back, and with a body that big, it's only coming from the Body Shop. Check them out on the Instagram, a big sponsor for Team Freedom. That's the Body Shop in ENJ. The goal of the shop is to create a space where you'll find everything you need in one location. There will be no guesswork. Shop sessions are set up so every member will have their own station, and each station will be equipped with everything you need to have a killer workout. All training sessions will incorporate 3 basics: weight, functional, and cardio training. When combined, we are able to have you gain strength along with reaching your max heart rate to burn calories and keep that acceleration going into the next day.
Mercado takes something off of that. Cunningham can't get enough on it. And a long rally will benefit Southern Exposure. Their lead back to 7, 15-8. We did see Jake Rosner getting, and you can tell he's an AVP Beach Pro, because he had his hands together, the as I like to call it, the prey dig.
Yeah, sometimes referred to as a tomahawk.
15-8 is your score. They go outside to Lutz from another angle. It's gonna fall in for the point. Wow, what a day he's had. John Lutz out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And he's got 14 kills.
Here's that Johnny Gomez substitution we keep talking about. Just gonna give Eddie Mushikian a little bit of a breather and just get Johnny Gomez in there on a 6-point lead right now. Southern Exposure not really in any danger of giving up that lead, but they want to shore this one up and get into this technical timeout on their terms. And their terms it is. Mercado with a swing off the block, a point for him, a 7-point lead established, and that is going to take us to the technical timeout at 16 from us here at the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, California. We'll be right back.
Hey, my name is Travis, and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year, we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
Well, John Lutz last played collegiate volleyball in 2014, so he is obviously older for one of these professional players. Obviously around 30 years old, making an impact here today for Team Freedom. But is it enough as they trail by 7 after the timeout? Seifert can't deliver this time, and the lead grows to 8. And you're starting to see Southern Exposure begin to have a bit of a sunset here in game 3.
Yeah, that ball looked like it slipped through the hands of Elias a little bit, didn't get it up as high as he wanted for Seif, and Seif had to cut that swing short.
And we see for the first time, swinging away, not much of an approach for Rosner, but who needs an approach when you can do that?
Interesting note, lefty outside, always a tricky one to handle. One of the only other lefty outsides is Chris Chappelle on the OC Stunners. It's a very rare combination to see. And, you know, getting it done there, he's all business. And you love to see some of these beach guys like Steve Roshitz, Rosner as well getting involved. Guys that can do it on all different surfaces.
Well, Matt Seifert, who played from 2012 through 2016 at Penn State. He will serve it here, serves it tough. Gomez is gonna have to save it right to Mercado. Talk about perfect placement. And then Lutz is blocked back. Solo stuff by Kevin Rocklein.
Man, that one feels good. John Lutz is the sole reason Team Freedom is even in the same zip code on the scoreboard right now. And for Rocklein to go up, get that one-on-one, grab that ball and shut it down. That one's gotta feel good for the outside hitter.
Rocklein will remember that one if they're able to hold on and win this match, as Zema, that's behind him, and they cannot connect, and it's getting very late here in this game for Team Freedom. It was Freedom with the decisive 7-point win our second set. Well, it looks like Southern Exposure's finding that answer. Sullivan to serve. Sullivan just wide. Good eyes there by Rosner.
You know, I want to take a second to take a step back. I think this really speaks to the quality of the league. You see the Las Vegas Ramblers fall to the Dallas Tornadoes, and if this continues the way it's going right now, Team Freedom's going to take a loss. 2 teams that were touted as 2 of the top teams coming into this weekend, dropping losses on the first day. Uncharacteristic, but it just speaks to how much depth and how much talent there is across the league. You love to see the way these teams have different compositions. Southern Exposure, a ton of club players. Freedom, the D3 Northeast, just force of high-level players. You've got the West Coast guys, and it's just so many different squads with different looks, well represented and able to battle it out, trade wins, and just represent their regions so well. If you're not sure if there's a team in your area, go to NVA USA, check it out. And of course, we're always expanding because we think everywhere in the US has top-level athletes that deserve to be on this stage and showcased here in the NBA.
We didn't get to do an interview after the Vegas-Dallas matches. That is going to be an ace for Rocklein. He picks up his first ace, 3rd for Southern Exposure. But you know, you were obviously on the sidelines for that setback for Las Vegas. Felix Chapman, who would have been the man, he was the man of the match. We just didn't get a chance to speak to him. But what can you say about the effort he had? He put that team on his back. That's an effort you typically see out of Rattray, out of your guy.
Yeah, you know, one of those things that in terms of prepping for a match like that, when you've got those kind of players, you know they're a pin-centric team, but it's just a matter of time. They had a new libero, shorted up a little bit, got some new hands, new setter, and it's just those little things that when you get to such a high level, it's all about the 1% improvements. And so as much as they were able to kind of shore up some of their setting location, their passing quality, things like that, it just activated the Dallas Tornadoes. It got Roshitz involved. It got Luna involved as their second outside, as Sekiel Sanchez could not make the trip out due to unfortunate flights with power outages in Puerto Rico going on right now. But then you saw just a heroic effort on the right side. And they just were able to apply pressure. Ramblers with some uncharacteristic faults across the board, but you just saw so much pressure from Dallas Tornadoes at a time that could not have been more clutch. So I just love seeing efforts like that. Again, as the Ramblers, the vice president for that team and current head coach, it's a tough one to swallow. But as a guy that has worked with the NBA for the better part of 7 years, it makes me so proud of what we're doing here for men's volleyball. And you love to see that no team is ever down and out. Dallas Tornadoes giving it their all here in Southern California at event number 3.
Did Brandon Rattray get tired in that match? Because we were tallying his numbers here courtside, and he had 17 kills through the first 2 sets. Anytime the ball was in his perimeter, oh my God, he was putting it away, and then maybe another 8 the rest of the match.
No, he's generally one of those guys that's able to grind it out and make those efforts and stay pretty fresh. But, that's what these guys are expected to be able to do, and big names like that are expected all the same. But you talk about big names, Tyler Hubbard-Neal now coming in, one of the guys that made his name here in the NBA as a solid serving substitution. And just an all-around back row rock for Southern Exposure. So coming in now for Rocklein and showing that he's going to be a passing option here.
Well, they go right after him with the serve by Rosner. And Mercado's going to roll to open space. Running this down is Ron Dunn, who just came in after that timeout as the new setter for Team Freedom to give them another look. And putting that one away is Nelson. A moment ago, you did see Zema land the kill. So obviously it's going to be almost impossible for Team Freedom to rally here in game 3, down now 22-14. It was a 10-point deficit, but if you are Team Freedom, you want to see how they respond going to game 4. It's still plenty of a chance to force a decisive 5th. They go back 2 times in a row, and wow, Uchenna Ofoha, stop him once, won't stop him twice.
Yeah, and the setter is always an interesting one because Matt Elias is playing well, I think. But at the end of the day, if your hitters aren't producing and you don't have alternatives because of what your roster has for the weekend, sometimes you want to try a different guy at the helm. And so that's where we're going to see Ron Dunn get the nod. And Ron Dunn is just an absolute pro. The guy knows how to ball out. So given where they're at, if they lose this set, that's not the end of the road just yet. They've bought themselves a little bit of breathing space. So get him in there, maybe give him a nod, see if he can get something going for these guys. So going into the 4th set, you'll probably see him repeated if they made that substitution here. So set point now for Uchenna Ofoha.
Ofoha, who just landed an ace. Good pass by Rosner, leads to a Zema finish.
Nice high set there from Ron Dunn. Something we've been talking about a little bit is the connection between Elias and some of his middles, trying to get them high enough, get them activated. Ron Dunn doing it fresh off the bench there. You'll love to see it from number 1.
So serving is Zema. He serves too long. And game number 3 belongs to Southern Exposure as they are victorious by 10, 25-15. And they lead the match 2-1. Game 4, Southern Exposure has a chance to close out. The team in front of them in the standings, Team Freedom in 4 sets. We'll find out if they can when we come back.
flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
If you're tuning back in, I am Nick England, joined on the mic by Ira Thor, and we are here in set number 4, Southern Exposure up 2-1 over Team Freedom. Fans at home, we hope you're having a great day one checking out the NVA, and as always, it is our goal to continue upgrading the product, showing you guys great volleyball, but also showing it to you in a way you want to see. If you want to make sure to support the league, check us out on Instagram, like the YouTube stream down below. Check us out on our website, nvausa.com. There's all sorts of ways, and we would not be able to do this without your support. So we love hearing from you guys on social medias. Follow your favorite teams. Check out their highlights. We're pumping out content all year long. This is not just a one-time thing. The NBA is here to stay, and so is Southern Exposure as they get back underway.
As that one off the net, played by Seifert. Here's a chance for Southern Exposure. They go deep corner, but reading it is the Beach Pro, Rosner. And sent over by Team Freedom with a 1-0 lead for Southern Exposure. Dunn outside, and blocking it into the corner is Sullivan and Lurich.
We are seeing a lights-out performance from blocking right now in Southern Exposure. They're getting terminal blocks, they're getting block touches, and man, does it put them in control of the flow state of this game, up 2-0 right now.
Chad Mercado will serve. And he takes a lot off of that one, forcing Rosen to come in. Free ball is annihilated by Lurich, his 6th kill, and none bigger than that for a 3-0 lead.
Lurich is just having another match right now.
And Team Freedom needs to find some answers fast, or this one's going to end in 4. And if you're Team Freedom, you know, standings-wise, this is probably your best matchup of the weekend, because tomorrow they're going to be taking on your Las Vegas Ramblers in the first match of the day. The East Coast team having to play the early one, so hopefully they got the jet lag out of their system. And then they'll play the early match on Sunday against a red-hot Texas Tyrant squad. So if you're Team Freedom, you could easily go from 5-1 to 5-4.
It could happen quick. Ooh, lucky bounce off the top.
In the middle, and that is put away by Matt Seifert. Matt Seifert, during his career at Penn State, had 564 kills, but more impressively, a career .375 attack percentage, and certainly was one of those big guns in not just the EIVA, but throughout Division I men's volleyball during his tenure. Mercado swinging away, and he goes too wide. And Southern Exposure, lead is cut in half. It's now 4-2. Ron Dunn, the former Kane University standout, finished his career with 2,364 assists in just 3 years. As cross court, that is wide. 3 in a row for Team Freedom looking for an answer. As Mushikian misses.
Quick nod, you said Kane University. If you haven't heard the name before, be sure to stay tuned after this as the Chicago Untouchables take on the OC Stunners. Untouchables full of all-star talent from Kane University. There's going to be a lot of looks there, so be sure to stay tuned.
Matt Seifert reach out and stuff someone. That is his 4th of the match.
We got to get you a shirt that says that.
That could be a good fun. I could be my own sponsor.
You could, yeah.
The NBA.
The Reach Out and Stuff Someone award goes to, presented by Ira Thor.
Man, I thought of that years ago from remember the old AT&T commercial? Reach out and touch someone.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. I'm now with you. It makes total sense. I was sitting there, I was like, it sounds familiar, but the marketing is dialed in. I appreciate it all the same.
Most of my material is based off of my childhood growing up on the East Coast. I know, I got to talk to somebody. Oh, answering the Seifert stuff is the Lou Rich reach. As he puts down, I think that is his 6th block.
I think so. That sounds right to me. A heroic effort in the middle. And any team that's got a middle contributing that many blocks, you are happy.
Down the line, Nelson with the pass. They go to Lutz for the first time here. Sullivan back set to Mercado, never went over. And they don't call anything. I'm shocked by that. That would clearly never went over. And they finally do blow the whistle. And we saw that one plain as day.
Yep. A little bit of a communication time frame there for the refs to make sure they're all on the same page, but the correct call made at the end of it all the same.
They got it right. Good job by Dave Carson and Tony Chen, our R1 and R2, to communicate there. It could be a little loud in here. Motion's definitely, this is an emotion-filled match because it means so much to the standings for both of these teams. As that is put away. Rocklein connects. That's his 5th kill. And the lead is 7-5 for SE. So back to serve will be the block master himself, Tim Lurich. Does many blocks as he has kills. Trying to add an ace to that. Big serve from him. They go right side, and that's going to find its way onto the scores table off of the block as John Lutz picks up kill number 15 unofficially based on my chicken scratch.
And we've got a, so I was just about to say, lucky for Sullivan, able to get his hands up in time. Unfortunately, that dig sent his pinky into the inside of the bridge of his nose, and he sliced right around where his eye is, and he's now bleeding. So we're gonna get that cleaned up real quick. Southern Exposure right now determined to put it all on the floor and bleed for the points.
I'm not a big fan of blood, other than some good UFC action or some overpaid Mayweather fights. So we don't need to look at that. We'll take a quick break as the patchwork continues.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Those are the best uniforms in the game. You see Southern Exposure on the court. They lead 7-6. And we will see after the patch job to Sullivan. Matt Seifert serving the try to even this at 7 apiece. Good serve, nearly handcuff Southern Exposure. Rocklein off balance, never goes over. And a big, strong opening serve coming out of the medical timeout allows Team Freedom to even it.
We're now at 7 apiece. Team Freedom showing some signs of life here on the back of Ron Dunn coming in, getting the job done.
Seifert, this time cheeking with the pass. Team Freedom swinging away. I heard a touch. Do they call it? No. As Jake Rosner sends it too long. I almost certainly heard a touch there, but maybe my jet lag is catching up to me.
Gotta say, that was an impressive triple block there on the middle swing. Ofoha goes up, and 3 Freedom guys there to meet him at the top. That is no easy feat. Well done. Love to see that from Freedom. See if they can get one to go their way.
Sullivan with the serve. Pass by Nelson. They go back to Rosner, and he delivers on the second swing. Picks up his second kill of the match. Of course, Rosner came in for Bez Arslani, who he's been good most of the time. He's been on the floor for Team Freedom, but for Bez, just fell into a cold spell there and forced the coaching staff to go to another option. And we'll see Lutz serving just long. And the lead goes back to Southern Exposure, 9-8. As you see Team Freedom out on the court. Gonna get a good pass here to attack in system. Serving is Kevin Rocklein. Pass is not great. And that is off the block for the kill for Lutz, his 16th by my math.
God, he is determined to grab this team by the bootstraps and try to drag them the distance right now. We're seeing a lot of good moves from Freedom that just aren't scoring points, except for number 18.
A good serve by Rosner. Mercado. Rosner can't track that down. Mercado gets one in the kill column. That's his 6th of the match. Still a quiet day for his standards. You know, we've seen some big numbers from Chad Mercado, the Lees McRae product, 6'5" out of Orlando. His team up by 1. And here's Ofoha. They go back to Nelson, and he annihilates it. Jeff Nelson picks up his 7th kill.
You see a little bit of D'Agostino chatting with Mercado there, talking about the block move, where they want it, of those little in-game interactions and keeping track of them.
Seifert back in the front row, gets hands on that one, and then tipped over by Exposure. From back row, Lutz. Oh, a swipe save by Rocklein. And 2 deep by Mercado, who can't believe he missed that.
This was one of those things that was talked about when D'Agostino got added to the roster. Would he be a setter or a libero? He is constantly setting these amazing second balls all the way to the pin. Over his shoulder, backwards. It's incredible to watch.
Well, I watch it and can't believe somebody can be that accurate, that consistently. And that one will be sent wide, and that's not Mercado's fault at all. That one was falling to the earth after Seifert got his big mitts on it yet again. And the lead is 2 for Team Freedom, who has started to figure things out at the most imperative time of the match.
SAT word for the day, there it is.
Dig over on 1. Can they capitalize? Roll shot. And a reach out there by Dr. Doug to save it. 3rd chance for Southern Exposure, and Mercado swings away. This time it's Rosner with the dig. And they continue to play on. Defense leads to a Southern Exposure put away. Mashikian's winner.
Wow, D'Agostino getting down and dirty for the boys. Number 10 with a huge dig there at a critical moment in that rally.
D'Agostino, man, he is just so talented. 5'10", one of the smallest guys in the entire league. Size doesn't always matter.
Right now we're seeing kind of an abundance of errors on the back of Mercado. Missed serve, he's got 3 missed swings there. Having a little conversation, seeing if he's still good to go. Just got to get him a little bit of a breather here. Well, I think, try to get some middles involved. We've seen Lurich being a big kill contributor, so a good pass to the middle would not surprise me there.
Reach out and stuff someone again. Oh my. Seifert needs to stay in the front row forever if you're Team Freedom. Obviously that's not permitted, but he picks up another big stuff, and we will now see another sub as Mashikin will take a breather. Get another look here with Tyler Hubbard-Neal. Also in on that block, by the way, was Lutz. Second time he's been involved in the action. Chance here for Team Freedom to extend it. And they got a last-second, touch by Kevin Rocklein.
Yep. And I think that even if he didn't touch that, that was going to be super close to in. His touch sent that a bit long, but that was kind of the reflection. That's a really tight ball. I get why he threw an arm out there for a punch.
15-11, Team Freedom with the 4-point lead. They go in the middle to Lurich, who's been so good all match long. Back set here to Nelson, who sends it over. Can Team Freedom respond? They do. Lurich with the finish. That's his 7th kill.
Great job there by Sullivan. Gets up, pulls a blocker, and then feeds it into the middle, number 8.
Tyler Hubbard-Neal out of Battle Creek, Michigan, the 6'2" outside. He'll serve here. Try to draw Southern Exposure a bit closer. Great pass. Team Freedom. Lutz is going to get the finish. His 17th kill takes us to our 16th point, and a technical timeout. Team Freedom trying to stay alive in the match. They lead 16-12 when we come back.
Meet Tom. Tom is the shipping manager for an e-commerce company specializing in unique, high-end home furnishing. Because these aren't your typical everyday pieces, Tom's often biting his nails every time a shipment leaves the warehouse. His discerning customers will notice every ding, dent, or scratch, which is why Tom trusts one company, RPM Expedite's dedicated network. RPM specializes in hard-to-handle freight that needs a reliable, damage-free shipping approach. RPM boasts 99.3% damage-free delivery. RPM also makes it easy for Tom to customize his shipments. With pricing options, and for transparency and peace of mind, Tom can access RPM's online portal for booking, tracing, and tracking shipments. And of course, if he ever has questions or needs assistance, Tom can always access RPM's round-the-clock customer service. Call RPM Expedite today for your customized, hard-to-handle shipping solution, or visit us online at www.rpmexpediteusa.com.
Ira Thor, Nick England with you live here in San Bernardino, California, where Team Freedom has found some answers after getting blown out in game number 3. And they are trying to extend this to 5.
Yeah, and that's the big thing we talked about. Was Team Freedom going to be able to shore up some of that passing, get it dialed in, and find those offensive swings? And like we can't say his name enough. Number 18, John Lutz, right now is just bringing the boys along. Great effort by him, and everyone else is starting to fall in line.
Also important to have a short memory after losing a game as badly as they did. Nearly collision there between Dunn and Lutz. Can Team Freedom respond? They do, as Rocklein's able to split the big block. That's his 6th kill. And remember, we got one more match left to play tonight, folks. 7 p.m. approximately as the start time for that one. Pacific time to be the Chicago Untouchables and the OC Stunners close out day number 1 of our 3rd event. As that jump serve by Lurich is short, and the lead is 17-13. Matt Seifert, probably a lot more valuable in the front row, but he's a good server, and he will have the ball in his hands, trying to extend the lead for Freedom. Deep float, handled by Rocklein in the middle. You don't see that too often, but Uchenna Ofoha is stuffed by Dr. Doug. Zema picks up his 3rd block, and the lead is 5. see Cypher, another low line drive. Could come over on one. And Sullivan wins the joust for the kill.
And that's where Sullivan's size is so valuable. Able to get his hands up over the net and make sure that one does not trickle down through.
So Sullivan gets credit for his first kill, the 6'6" Richmond, Virginia native at Belmont Abbey. Oh, Zema with the answer. Some bad medicine of his own. And a ball in the hands of tonight's most outstanding player. I think no matter which way you're looking, that's John Lutz, because he's come out of nowhere to lead the charge. Lutz will swing away off the hands, but Hubbard Neal was waiting for that one. Well read by him off the bench. Off the net, and Cunningham will send this over to extend the play. Can Southern Exposure capitalize? Big hands by Lutz. Zema. And a useful spot for the kill. It's Team Freedom taking charge now.
Well, that is certainly an impressive defensive effort from the boys in white and blue. Love to see that. Lutz getting down and dirty back there. And that's going to be a timeout called for Southern Exposure.
And that will force Southern Exposure to talk this over. But at this point, just trying to slow down this Team Freedom train. This is very much looking like a 5-set affair. And if it goes to 5, I would think right now it favors, it's got to favor Team Freedom, because not only are they carrying this momentum into a 5th set potentially, but they're the team that's made some adjustments and they're paying off, where Southern Exposure has stayed relatively consistent lineup-wise throughout this one.
Right now, I'm just looking across the board at some of the stats so far from this match, as my voice is already given out here on day one. It's pretty interesting to see that so far we're seeing about an 8-point discrepancy in the total errors made. Team Freedom with 8 more errors across the board than Southern Exposure. However, Team Freedom is also outscoring Southern Exposure by 10 points. So you're definitely seeing Team Freedom not afraid to end the rally on their own accord. So Southern Exposure just doing their best to stick in there and battle it out.
Losing your voice, I got 2 solutions for you, either some honey and tea or some good old-fashioned scotch. One or the other will take care of that. In the middle, that's coming our way. Kill off of the block for Uchenna Ofoha. And lead is 20-15 now. I got to sustain my voice at the end of this weekend, because on Tuesday I will be reading approximately 2,000 names at graduation commencement at the University I work at in New Jersey, which is ironically, as that's off the ceiling, the same school that Carlo Edra is the head coach at New Jersey City University, so I've known him forever. Some of his guys will graduate. As that is rolled in, the new guy on the block connects.
Rosner right there, flashing his AVP badge. You know, when you hear about Beach, so frequently it's associated with crafty roll shots, a well-versed hitting vocabulary. Getting the job done there. Well done by the lefty on the outside.
And by the way, next Thursday, my daughter graduates 8th grade. As that pops off the tape, and I am doing the welcome speech at the graduation, and she was not overly thrilled to find out that Daddy-O was going to be making the speech. And the first question she asked was, am I mentioned by name? And I'm like, no. And she's like, good, keep it that way.
But I mean, when they hear it's a Thor, there's only so many.
She'll know, and I'll get the eye roll, and that's typically what happens with a teenager when you're the father.
Great punch dig, and we're back into it. Ofoha,
no laughing matter at all. As I tell you what, Team Freedom may win this set, but Southern Exposure is starting to come together a little bit here late in this 4th game, and I think we have a barn burner coming up in the 5th. This is some great volleyball action. Ofoha to serve. Zema is there. Ofoha, the big man with the dig, and then Tyler Hubbard swings away. Oh, and look at that. Tyler
talk
Hubbard
about
Neal with the big swing, and Ron Dunn with the kind of no-look changeup there on 2.
But you talk about defense there. We saw Ofoha gets the dig, but not to be outdone. And Rosner lays out on the back line, stretches out one-handed punch dig, and gives Freedom another breath of life.
There is Lutz from the back row, sent over by Rosner, sends it deep and forces a dive out of Southern Exposure. Mercado swings away. And that is going to be well out of play by Nelson, facing the block of Mercado, which completely took away the line option. 23-17.
This score looking eerily similar to what we saw in that 25-15 win that went the other way in set 3. So Southern Exposure got to keep battling back while there is still light in the sky.
Big breath from Mercado. Uses the tape. In the middle, they go to Seifert. Covered by Southern Exposure. And Hubbard Neal down the line, misses wide. And 7 set points for Team Freedom.
Hubbard Neal going for that wipe off the hands and unable to find it. Freedom making a very disciplined block move, and Lutz not giving him an inch to go after there. There's a nice little close-up. Ron Dunn coming to you guys live. Look at number 1.
Ron Dunn trying to close out this 4th set. And Team Freedom, after an awful 3rd set, trying to return the favor. Won't happen here as it's left short. Still 6 set points to work with.
Rocklein coming back in for Johnny Gomez, and that's going to be Hubbard Neal back to serve.
Well, Hubbard Neal's a great server, certainly somebody you feel comfortable with if you're Southern Exposure, having a ball in his hands if they're going to make any kind of a late charge here. That's why. Good serve. They go in the middle to Lutz, who cannot connect, and will play on.
Man, you gotta feel like you catch a lucky break when John Lutz finally misses a swing. He's been on fire here in this set. Well, in this match.
17 total kills by my math. Off the tape, Nelson there. Dunn to Seifert. Sayonara here in game number 4 as Team Freedom is able to mount the win 25-19. And we are going to game number 5 in our 4th match of the day. Freedom, Southern Exposure. We'll find out how this one ends when we come back for game number 5.
Hey, my name is Travis, and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year, we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
you saw the promo. All roads come back here to San Bernardino, July 10th and 11th, where the last 8 teams remaining after this weekend will battle it out to see who this year's NBA Cup champion ultimately is. And Team Freedom certainly looking to stay at top their conference standings, as they, with a win, would improve to 6-1. If they lose this one, well, they're going to have a tough weekend of results in front of them. Southern Exposure, we talked about Team Freedom's schedule ahead. Southern Exposure tomorrow takes on the Utah Stingers, and then they take on the LA Blaze on Sunday. See how that plays out as we go to game number 5, and the first point belongs to Team Freedom. An attack error by Hubbard Neal goes wide. Looking on the court for Team Freedom, of course no changes. Why would you? Because they've already pushed the right buttons. Coach Carlo Edra and Justin Beaumont making the moves that have worked so far, and with a depleted lineup, that's good news. Southern Exposure, here's Sullivan, back set Mercado off of the head of Nelson, and Mercado's second swing is pay dirt. Chad Mercado picks up his 7th kill, and we're even at 1. Ira Thor, Nick England with you, and we are live at the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, California. Back here again in 1 month's time. And they go to Lutz, blocked back, poked in the air by Rosner. Lutz this time goes to the middle of the court. And that is nearly put down, but no, dug up by Rosner again. D'Agostino with the dig. They go to Hubbard Neal, who's blocked back. Combo block by Seifert and Lutz, and it's a 2-1 lead, and Seifert, man, can't find an answer for him.
Yeah, you talked about the prowess and how well established a middle blocker Seifert is, showcasing the skill set there. Wonderfully way to start this 5th set off.
Mind you, we played a 15 here, and Jeff Nelson serving his team up 2-1. Dug up and poked over by Dunn. D'Agostino runs it down. In the middle, Lurich with the swing. And Mercado's there for the pass from the back row. That is too long. And an error on Kevin Rocklein at an inopportune moment. It is 3-1. Now, there's one thing we know about Southern Exposure. They're going to keep fighting. This easily could have been over in 4 sets after they trailed big in game number 1, yet rallied to win. Running that one down is Nelson. They go back to, who else? Lutz. And he misses too long, a rare error.
Right now, we are seeing a phenomenal effort from the outsides on Team Freedom. Both number 2 and number 19 back there getting down and dirty and extending rallies. So it's really putting the pressure on Southern Exposure to keep attacking aggressively. This is going to be a great way to take this 5th set if they can keep it up.
And another error on the service game gives the ball back to Team Freedom, and they'll take that in a short set. Now leading 4-2. Matt Seifert will serve. Matt Seifert, 6'9" out of Reading, Pennsylvania. Larger Philadelphia suburb. In the middle. And there's Dr. Doug with the prescription.
Lurich is getting slowed down very well right now by Team Freedom. Sullivan's looked for him 3 times already, but not able to get it activated. Lurich tried to cover himself there, got a little bit in the way of Hubbard Neal, and that one's going to go down for Team Freedom.
Zema picks up his 4th block. The lead is 5-2. Slotting this one through with a response, Kevin Rocklein's 7th kill to keep Southern Exposure within striking distance.
And man, if you want a reason to be a fan of either one of these teams, the way they just continue to apply pressure, be willing to scrap in a war of attrition, just going all out. You see everyone making errors, but everyone is making tenfold contribution with aggressive swings and willing to keep going at it. And that's what it's all about. And there it is. Sullivan steps in and takes advantage of Lutz, giving the free ball there. Gonna say thank you, sir. Put a pink bow on it, and I'll take that kill.
Yeah, not much there Team Freedom could expect after that free ball was literally straddling the net. It's now a 1-point game with Lurich serving. They go to Rosner, dug up by Southern Exposure. Mercado swings away. Dunn was there for it. Rosner off the high hands. Chance for Southern Exposure to tie it here, and they do. As Uchenna Ofoha puts it away, his 8th kill.
I love to see the triple block there. Rocklein works hard, talks to Sullivan, talks to Ofoha, gets all the way across the net. Great block touch there to slow that down. Easy dig there for Hubbard Neal, and the train rolls on for Southern Exposure, tied at 5.
And you knew they weren't going to go away easily. Dunn to Zema. Finishes it. 6th kill for him.
Zema really having a stellar, consistent performance here. Getting some nice block touches, getting that well-deserved kill. And there might be a huge size discrepancy between him and number 12 across the net, but certainly not to be outdone.
A little bit behind Rocklein. Can Team Freedom respond? Zema again, over on 1. And then a solo block there by Sullivan to send it back, and it's going to be sent over here by Team Freedom. Team Freedom. Oh, wow. Ofoha with the hammer. Back-to-back kills for him, his 9th, and we're even at 6 apiece, and that was just, if you're Team Freedom, a wasted opportunity.
Speaks to the strength of this Belmont Abbey grad, number 15, Sullivan. He's a 6'4", 6'5" setter. That's going to give him such great connection with middles. As he jump sets that ball, it gets him at a naturally high point of contact. And when you've got someone that flies like Ofoha does, man, you are handing him the ball at a very high point of contact. Great swing.
Can we give Sullivan another inch for his hair?
And if it's not another inch, it's certainly style points.
It's got to at least be an inch. As the lead goes back on the kill by Rosner. He's come in here and playing half a match and has had 4 kills and 7-6. He will go back to serve his NVA debut here today as he leaves that short. 7-7 is our score.
Next point's going to get the quick switch at 8. Always a nice little check mark that you're striving to be the first one to reach.
So Rocklein to serve to try to break the tie. Off the tape, waiting for it was done. Nelson is blocked, but they get a second look. And Rosner from the back row delivers his 5th, and will switch sides with Team Freedom leading 8-7. Team Freedom has not had a lot of success on this side of the court. They have lost both sets so far played on this side. And we'll see if, well, Team Freedom's able to keep this momentum going. It's been a great match. I mean,
it really has been.
I've enjoyed every second of this one because you've seen all the little storylines. You've new players making immediate contributions, teams getting blown out and having a short memory in the next set. Really all the things you want to see out of an exciting match.
It certainly is, and you know what's so great for me when I'm watching this is there's so many sick matchups that, like, the middle, this has been one of the best middle matchups I can think of all season. Not for one person in particular, but both teams. Their willingness to run the middle, the blocking efforts, the offense, like, it is so well-rounded and is so contested right now. Love to see it.
And that deflected at the net. They go back to Seifert. He's blocked back. So both middles getting in on the action. Here's Nelson off high hand. Sullivan gets hands on it and sent over by Hubbard Neal. Can Freedom capitalize? Outside, Lutz. No, waiting for it was Sullivan. Mercado takes something off of it. Oh, what a dive to keep it alive. And into the antenna, and the point goes to Southern Exposure. We are deadlocked at 8. So some playful banter back and forth there. That was that was between Zema and I think he was laughing with Langston Payne, who's actually a Jersey native, Central Jersey, so they know each other for years.
A lot of banter about that pancake that Zema was able to pick up. And even though Freedom didn't get the point, he was sure to make sure everyone knows that he got his hand underneath, cooked some breakfast, and prepping pancakes for everyone involved.
And the serve is too long by Ofoha. Yeah, Langston Payne hasn't played yet today for Southern Exposure, but he's out of Piscataway, New Jersey. Zema is out of Manalapan, New Jersey, both in the Central Jersey area, and obviously both guys very familiar with each other, so you can tell they have that playful relationship. Kind of fun to watch. We are 9-8 here for Team Freedom. Mercado trying to tie it. Oh, a big miss there. Mercado thought he got line or a touch. Thought he got a touch, and he's going to, I believe, get the call after all.
Yep. Seifert gives him a thumbs up. It was an agreed upon thing there, and you know, that's one of those things that it's kind of a veteran move. If you like, Freedom doesn't really argue calls generally too much, but when Seif confirms that, all the guys just keep, you know, dialed in. You don't worry about that point anymore, and you just keep trying to keep the train rolling.
And Seifert wants that one back as he leaves it short. And for the first time here in the 5th set, Southern Exposure back in front. Again, we played a 15, and if you're Southern Exposure, you get the point here. You're going to force Team Freedom into an uncomfortable spot and certainly a timeout. Use it short, gets the ace, just as we predicted. Mercado's third ace.
And do we get it? Second part of the prediction.
I think we have no choice here. If you're Carlo Edra, the coach here for Team Freedom, it's 11-9. I don't want to leave my partner hanging there. Southern Exposure, 11-9. This one certainly isn't over. But if you're Team Freedom, what adjustment do you make coming out of this quick discussion?
I mean, it's just, it all starts with the pass. Acing John Cunningham is certainly a rarity and not something that's going to happen often. So enjoy it while you get it. But there, you know, definitely a big nod to Southern Exposure there. But the big thing is, if you're able to dial in that pass right now, then get Seifert involved, get Lutz involved. Let one of those guys take a swing. You're confident they're going to get the job done. Dunn has been doing a great job since he came in for Elias, kind of righted that ship, getting the guys going the right direction. So I think right now you're going to see Cunningham be aggressive, take 65, 70% of the court back there, get a pass, dial him in, and we're going to see an outside ball to Lutz, number 18. That's my prediction right here. You heard it here first.
Well, Lutz is the big gun here for Team Freedom with 17 kills and counting, and that is left short. So now, well, Team Freedom has a chance to tie.
And I give you that golden situation. Instead, Coach Idra there gets the coach point for a nice timeout.
Can they tie it here? Sullivan, that is rolled over. Rosner to Seifert, and waiting for that was Mercado. One-on-one action. It's gonna fall in, the first kill for Tyler Hubbard-Neal, and a timely one indeed.
You said it, you know, everyone wants to be the guy that gets the most kills, but at the end of the day, the ones that matter are the ones that happen at the critical moments, and Hubbard-Neal getting his in right there was huge for them.
He always serves tough. Good pass by Cunningham. They go to Lutz, and a block for the ages there as Rocklein and Lurich make the lead 3, and Team Freedom is running out of time.
Well, that was certainly a statement there from number 11. And I think we're going to see the second time out. Well, on a match that is going the distance, it is not failing to deliver, and it's certainly an exciting one.
Wow, a 13-10 lead for Southern Exposure. They trailed by 3 early on in this 5th set, and to see them bounce back again just shows the tenacity of the Southern Exposure squad.
It really does, and if you're a Florida native, there's a fun team to be a fan of. You'll love to see them come in because they've got a tough weekend. You know, Freedom and Stingers all in one is a tough spot to be in. And the Blaze, you know, Blaze is one of those teams, they've had a tough last event, tough loss before to Stingers, but they've got, you know, another tough match right there that Blaze is more than capable of turning it on at any given time. So certainly want to see a win here for Southern Exposure in terms of upping their overall value in their side of the conference.
Well, depending on what happens with the Untouchables, that last match for the Blaze might be playing for the season right there.
Certainly the case.
Off the tape. Lutz to try to keep his team alive. This one will fall in, so he picks up kill number 18. It's not over yet. And we'll see Matt Seifert serving. Do or die time here.
Seifert, you know, one of those guys that puts together some solid, consistent serving. He's a guy you're definitely happy to see if you're Team Freedom. See if the middle blocker can extend a little magic here and push them into some extra innings.
Tough serve for Seifert. Off the hands, there is Nelson waiting for it. In the middle, Zema is dug up by Mercado. Southern Exposure swings away off the net, and Seifert will send it high and over. Southern Exposure, can they capitalize? They do. Another kill for Lurich. His 8th, along with 7 blocks he's been a part of, and he will serve. Southern Exposure has match point. Off the tape, Cunningham. They go to Lutz. And what's the call here? This will decide it as the officials get together and they award the point to Team Freedom. So Lutz is credited with the kill. It was just a matter of whether that caught tape or caught a hand. And based on the bounce back from the trajectory, it belongs to Team Freedom. Over on 1. Chance here for Freedom. Done to the floor. Oh, a pancake from D'Agostino. And they'll send it over. In transition, they go to Nelson. And he misses wide, and that's it. As Southern Exposure bounces back, and they win the final set 15-12. And they win the match 3-2. Your scores were 25-23, 18-25, 25-15, 19-25, and 15-12, as Team Freedom, which started the year 5-0, falls now to 5-2, and Southern Exposure's over 500 at 4-3. And we look at our possible man of the match, and I think it could either be Derek Sullivan or it could be Tim Lurich. I think it's going to be Tim Lurich. So
yeah, it is indeed. So you're going to go grab him, bring him on over, have a little chat with number 8. And not too long ago, he was joining me talking about a heroic effort here. And it's so rare that we see middle blockers getting this kind of a nod because you only see 3 rotations at a time. And it's really something that is so impressive. And while we get ready for that interview, take a look. We've got the final matchup of day number 1 here. That's going to be a great one. The OC Stunners battling the Chicago Untouchables. Both of these teams had stellar Event 2s. We've seen a roster overhaul as a bunch of recent NCAA grads for Chicago Untouchables join this lineup, as well as the OC Stunners add a bunch of firepower back. You see Corey Chavers returning. You see Eisenberg, man in black, number 4. There's just a ton of firepower. Nick Amato back in the lineup after suffering a near ankle break in event number 1. So definitely going to be a match to watch. If you're getting towards the evening, no matter if you're West Coast or East Coast, grab a drink, grab some food, let's hang out because we got one more nail biter. But I am joined right now by our man of the match, number 8. This is Tim Lurich. We have been in this position not 2 months ago. Gotta say, a stellar performance. Tim, congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
What an amazing thing. We talked about this. I feel like I'm a bit of a broken record. When you see a middle blocker that halfway through set 3, you'd already recorded 6 solo terminal blocks. What's going through your head when you see such a big matchup, Matt Seifert on the other side of the net?
I mean, honestly, it's just energy. I mean, they're pulling out energy. they're big middles, like you said, and for us, that just gives us more to fight for, I think. Just prove a little bit more, be a little bit quicker, have to read a little bit harder, but then when you get it just feels that much better.
And what does the prep look like? I mean, obviously they're the Titans on on that side of the bracket.
Yeah.
They've got a record that says quite a bit, and you guys have been battling nonstop since event 1. And this is, I mean, you guys are coming off that roster that struggled so much last November. So you guys have already had the miracle run season. That I've fallen in love with the team already. But what drives that? What's the conversation like going into Team Freedom?
We're just really talking about trusting each other. A lot of it's coming in our defense and our back row players reassuring that, like, if we make a read, we got to just go for it, commit. Not necessarily all the time, but like if you see something, you go, and then our defense can pick up the rest. And that really allows us as middles to really close and be confident. Our outsides do a really good job at like helping out when the setter's front and pushing over, allowing us again to read into that cross spot. It just allows us to be more confident and trust each other. So,
well, you guys are showing trust all over the court, and I mean, it seemed having so much defensive prowess between your outsides, the libero litany between Gomez, D'Agostino. That's a fierce duo back there.
It really is.
I've got to ask, as a former club player myself, you guys have a ton of club guys. What's that like? Getting that opportunity to go from that level of play, and now you're out here battling against former D1 All-Americans, international superstars. What's it like for you?
Honestly, again, it's back to the proving yourself. It's like showing that all the work that you had to put in, as you know, as a club player, a lot of it's the time that you're choosing to commit and how much effort you're willing to put in, and doing that and showing that that can pay off. I mean, half the time we switched coaches or didn't even have a coach.
Right.
So it's really whatever you're bringing to the court, and that same mentality works here. Like, if you're out on the court, you have to put in the work, you have to put in the effort, and if you're not doing it, it's not going to turn out. But as soon as you're putting effort in, it doesn't really matter who you're facing. They could be D1, they could be pro. I mean,
doesn't matter.
We all play in the same game, right?
Absolutely. Before we kick it off, I want to say, well, hello from a little warm-up ball. We're live, we're good, everything is great. You got any shout-outs you want to say on behalf of Southern Exposure or family, friends back home?
Hey, family. Hey, friends. Shout out to my new wife, Erica Hanley. We just got married over the weekend, so
love that.
A little bit of extra energy, I think, coming into it, but it was good.
Well, absolutely deserved. If you guys aren't a fan already, check out Southern Exposure. They're doing big things here in the NBA. That's number 8, Tim Lurich, middle blocker, the man of the match. Tim, thanks so much. Great job, buddy.
Thank you so much.
We will be back here shortly in the next 30 minutes. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. OC Stunners and Chicago Untouchables. We'll be right back.